Hey folks, I'm sorry, our lead organizer, Tara Morosky, is running a little bit late. She'll be here about 9:20, but as soon as she's here, we'll get the show on the road, and believe me, you'll get your money's worth.
That's why it's free. Good morning, everybody. You ready to rock and roll? Let's rock and roll. All right, please scan the QR code, and this is how we take attendance. So if this is your first time with us, please also scan the QR code. We would like to make you our friend and spam you from time to time. So you've been warned. Thank you all. And once everybody gets checked in, we're going to get started. Sorry, we're running a little late today. You all know what it's like running a business. Sometimes you can't always plan it. All right. Everybody ready to go? All right, here we go. Welcome to 1 Million Cups. The mission of 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier of access to education resources for all types of new, seasoned, and aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the United States. We have some key pillars. First, we get presentations, not pitches. We also make authentic connections. We're not just here to network. And we are radically and intentionally inclusive, and we are run for the community, by the community. And what I mean by that are these are your local businesses and business owners that bring this to you weekly. So we are grateful to the Mix for housing us every Wednesday. We appreciate the Waffle House for donating the free coffee. And everyone there below are our organizers. And they help support, coach, market, and do all of the behind the scenes. And we get nothing for it but an ugly shirt, which I don't even have anybody wearing the ugly shirts today. Hey, thanks, models. You have one job. Wear the ugly shirts. Okay, that's okay. Anyway, that's all we get. Lousy t-shirt. It is a pure labor of love. Our local program. So if you don't know, we've actually been here for over 10 years. We are held weekly on Wednesday mornings. We have had over 500 entrepreneurial presentations. And we do also offer topics, educational topics like finance, future frame, networking, and provide local resources. We have one presenter a week with about a 5 to 6 minute presentation, and then we follow that with Q&A from the community. We also have Made It sessions where local entrepreneurs will come in who have made a significant amount of money, and they share their story with us. Again, we are always free, we are always open to the public, and we do caffeinate you, so please tell a friend and bring a friend next time. I am asking for presenters. So it is not a sales pitch, it is not an investor pitch. The goal is to have people understand what you do and some of the challenges you've had in building your business. So think of it as sharing your entrepreneurial journey. We love companies that are 0 to 5 years old and open to community engagement. And you can apply here at this link, or you can come and reach out to me or any one of our organizers after the event. Again, if you have an idea, you're rebranding, anything, just come and talk about your journey. Emphasis on journey. Here we go. We have a couple of Facebook pages we'd love for you to be part of. We have one, which is our 1 Million Cups Facebook page, which is kind of the national page. And this one is our little local Columbia page. So this is where I guess you can think of it as like the family kitchen table. This is where we want more of our engagement, communication, postings, share information, request information. This will be where we'd like that to happen. So thank you, everybody. A couple of things. So next week, we're going to have Jim Johnson here. He is going to be talking about all of the grant opportunities with SBDC. So that's going to be an informative resource for you. After that, we've got the lovely Annette Flavel, who's coming in. There she is. Hello, my love. Last year, she presented on her publishing company, Lucky Rabbit, and she's going to come in and give us an update. She found your presentation was of benefit to you last year?
Oh, very much so.
Okay.
Yes, it was the beginning of the journey.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it was the beginning of the publishing journey.
Yes.
And the journey has been so different from what I thought it would be. So
An update. We love it. We love updates. Awesome. After that, we're going to have Alfredo Bertlanga in. He's going to talk about All Medical Inc. and his journey as an owner there. Hello, Alfredo. How you doing? All right. You ready for that, kid?
I'm trying.
Okay. We're with the coaches. And then 25th is open. So if you would like to present on the 25th, hit us up. We'd love to fit you in on that time slot. I'd just like to give everybody a brief reminder. If you could, please just make sure your phone is silenced or volume is down. Out of respect for our presenters and the guests, we just want to make sure that that is done. I know we tell you cannot network here, but hey, I got it. And guess what? I got the floor, so I can give myself a little pitch here. These are two wonderful networking events that you can join locally. One is Networking on Gervais. We meet over at 620 Gervais Street every third Thursday, 9 to 10 a.m. You can come and network with other business owners. We had about 34 business owners in the room actually this month. It was amazing. The other one we're bringing back, Pitchy Women. So my ladies who own companies, if you want to be in a warm and environment a room and practice your pitch, we're open to that as well. We're bringing that back the second Fridays of every month from 8:30 to 9:30. Come in and give us your pitch, and we'll all work on our pitches together. So all the details can be found on Eventbrite. There, done. Shameless plug. All right, now to the main event. Miss Tacoria Jones. She is a Colombian native and has lived here for most of her life. She was the 2023 Casey Family Program Birth Mother of the Year. Her mission is centered in determination, resilience, purpose, and healing. And she is doing that in a massive, fast-growing, and sustainable global industry, as well as in her interdisciplinary consulting approach. Tacoria Jones is a homegirl with a big commitment, I love that, to well-being, heart, mind, and soul. And if you could kindly please welcome her to the stage.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm so glad to be here. Is that where we're starting?
Is this the first one, my
Yes,
dear?
that is.
All right, I'm going to pop it up live.
Excellent.
There you go.
So yes, I am Tacoria Jones. I love my city. It's where I was raised. It's part of me, right? And I'm a mother of 6, as you see there. All of them are there. And that's our mayor, the opening of the studio. Again, I love my city. I love my kids. It's a big part of who I am. And education as well. I love to learn. And I got my BA at Interdisciplinary Studies. And if you hadn't heard of that, that's the program where you can put together what you want to learn as long as you make it make sense. So I took criminology, politics and international studies, urban geography, and sociology. Because I wanted to understand, how does our society work? Now, one thing about me is that sometimes it's kind of hard for me to talk about myself. I was educated here, lived here, right? But I also had a lot of experiences here. I experienced a lot of the systems. So when I say systems, you know that means Department of Social Services, DJJ, those kinds of things. I've got a lot of experience with that as a ward of the state. So sometimes it's kind of difficult to really talk about myself. I did a lot of surviving. But one thing I do know is that these things that I identified in the Clifton's, I heard about Clifton's, the personality test kind of thing. It was about 45 or so, in my mid-40s, so I know this is me. I'm a learner. I love to learn. It's very important for me to be able to sit and observe and learn. I'm an achiever. I've had 6 kids. You got me one. I'm strategic, so I have a brain that loves to figure things out. Ideation, that's for ideas. So if you want to get a good idea, you want to kind of think things through. I'm a great person for that. And intellection. Where you gonna find me on a Friday night? Maybe at the dance hall, maybe with a brief, because I want to learn about a new study on an herb or a body condition or something like that. So I like to have fun, but these things are also very important. Now, I share these things because sometimes it's difficult to see past the surface identity, right? And I know that as a child of the state, I've seen a lot of different kind of people in a lot of different kind of situations. So one thing I do know is that we all are walking around with something. Now this is a brief history of my work experiences. Done a lot of things, and I don't even think I got all of them up there. But again, this is to show you the kinds of people and crowds and experiences and knowledge that I do have. Now, I've also gotten in some trouble in there. I've got a little experience, again, with the law, but I'm a person, I'm a human, and those experiences count for something because people come back into society, right? And need to be brought back in safely. What else do I want to share from here? So, experiences. A lot of the, there's a buzzword these days, lived experience. And what does that mean? Lived experience is anything that you've experienced for yourself, that you've gone through, and you know it. So if you take a photography class but never take a picture, you're not a photographer. You just have the lived experience of going to class. But if you're out there with your camera and you're taking pictures, whether you went to class or not, then you're a photographer because you have that experience. So understanding your experience is very rich. We all have it. And again, as ward of the state, I've seen a lot of trauma. I've been around people who work in trauma. And I know that folks need an advocate. There's people who need somebody to stand up for them. There are people who need to be told they're doing the wrong thing. And there are people who want to do better, who want to learn and do better. And so I have something for all of those, right? As a consultant, it is my goal to bring experience to the table, welcome it and center it. And as a practitioner of well-being, I infuse it with care. So here at this point, we will talk a little bit about these 2 images. Here, everybody, this is my consulting. This is where I've been working in the past 6 years, doing a lot of things. I've had a long time contract with HHS, so that's Health and Human Services, Casey Family Programs. I do some work in their mapping, their GIS, and across the child welfare experience. I've worked with the Children's Alliance here in South Carolina and nationally, with DSS, DJJ, do all kind of things. Circle, keeper, mediator, facilitator. And in that work, I met a lot of people, right? Some of my experiences have a lot of workforce identities. I met a lot of people in this consulting work, and there is no doubt that our workforce needs support. The United States has one of the worst retention rates in the first world countries. We're just right up there with Australia. Our state is one of the sickest states in the nation. And people leave jobs because of stress. And what is stress? Right? It lives in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And as a well-being practitioner, I know that bodywork therapy is one way to address the stress that is not, it's not a lot extra. You can come into an office and do some care. So it is my goal to bring wellness to the 21st century workforce. So sharing data, knowledge, community centered because experience is where it matters, and accessible well-being because we all need some. So I heard an alarm, so I'm assuming that's my 6 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
And we can open the floor to questions. This is part of my body work. I do write as well, so yeah, please, love hands.
So when somebody comes to you for help and assistance, what is it normally? Say I'm a business owner, and so what? Tell me a little more. What do you dig into a person to figure out? Say, since you have all this experience working with different forms of, let's say dysfunctional people, so you probably have mastered. There's probably certain things that most humans do that are a detriment to ourselves. Sometimes we self-destruct ourselves, I guess, so to say. Say I'm a business owner. Say some things aren't necessarily going right, so I need to do some deeper self-analyzing. But we can only self-analyze, I think, so deep. Sometimes you need an outside source because our opinion may be biased a little bit. So what does the process look like?
Appreciate that question.
Mm-hmm.
Allow me to talk a little bit about health coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So the experiences that I've had, right, led me to realize that very same thing, especially business owners or people who are always bettering themselves or are looking to continually improve a process, right? Having some support and finding your path to your best well-being is normal. It's part of the human experience, right? We need peers. We have neurons in our brain that are made to mirror, right? So that's how we learn. Even as infants, we learn by being with each other. So having a health coach is just like, I'm your buddy, right? We're gonna figure it out together. You're gonna make your goals, and then I'm gonna support you in that by educating when necessary, and by helping you do that intrinsic learning. Like you said, you think a lot about yourself, and I'll help you mirror that. And you'll say something to me that's already gonna answer what you're thinking about, and it's my goal as a health coach to pull on that thread and just continually show you and be reflective of what you are and what you're bringing, because as humans, we already know. It's in there somewhere. But again, as humans, we need that support to tease us. Did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am, you did.
All the way in the back, Mr.
Man, do you have a website or a blog to put out people?
I'm working on a blog now. That first slide showed you 6 kids, and that's a thing that's an everyday thing. I'm a single mom. I came out of the Upward Children's Home, so my kids are everything to me. They're my family. We are each other. If something goes wrong, I'm there. If they're sick, I'm there. If the washer hose won't come off, I'm there. So I do write. I just don't write publicly as much as I should. Now, I was published recently, and they had to send this to me. Cut off the date. This is the end of January. So this is my article, Influence of Environment. That's my name. I am the board secretary of Be Strong Families. I'm located in Chicago. So that is a goal, and I appreciate you asking me that. And that's an idea too. But the website, yes, that is your question. So JCBW, Jones Center for Body Work and Wellbeing. I love my family, right? So I want to make them a part of it as much as possible.
More questions?
I work with a lot of elder people and people with disabilities, and some customers at times they struggle with talking or speaking, and when it comes to like repairing some of their equipment, like medical equipment, the technicians and I, if we see a reaction, obviously we're not familiar with it, but we can tell that there's a little bit of frustration, and there's you can tell that we know how to handle it. How will you go towards stay calm and just when it comes to a situation like that, because obviously they're frustrated because at times they cannot really speak, they cannot really tell us what's going on, so we're kind of working blind. But how you stay calm and just calm the situation.
Absolutely. And as an advocate and a mediator, that's a very interesting space to be in, right? Because you have a client and you know that they have challenges. You as a business owner have a task ahead of you. So the biggest thing is, for me, to stay future oriented and find a goal that we both can sit in. So your goal is to assist them, and their goal is to be assisted. That's why you're there. So working from that point out and keeping an eye on what do we want to accomplish at the end of this conversation. That's usually how I approach that. But I always do start with the advocacy part, which is really listening and letting them know I'm hearing them, talking back to them, saying, oh, not talking back, Lord, how much is repeating what I heard and saying to them, okay, is this what I heard? And just taking time, because a lot of times they want to see how you're responding. So if you're calm and you're looking at them politely, right, and letting them know that you're there and present with them, a lot of the agitation can decrease and that trust can happen, especially with seniors, and I do volunteer with seniors often. They're overwhelmed. The 21st century is not like where they grew up. It's not like anything that they've ever experienced, and it came up on us pretty quick. So, and then if they're in an emergency situation, it's just really important that we all take a breath, right? And focus on the goal, and again, the future of where we want to lead the conversation.
So one question. So I've been struggling. Somebody behind me.
She said, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I don't have one. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, I just wanted to say my name is Lori Strange, and you mentioned Epworth and being in the system, and so I adopted my daughter. I just want to say to God be the glory, not congratulations, but to God be the glory for your story and how you persevered and how, what the devil meant for evil, God meant for your good. And I'm so proud of people like us, amen. I'm talking when I say us because I grew up in a housing projects in New Jersey, and so, but I adopted my daughter. She had been in the system since she was 1 year old in DSS, and when she came to my house, she was in a pre-adoptive state. So at 5, I adopted her, and they said she wouldn't. The system said that she wouldn't make it past the 8th grade, and I'm just here to testify that she graduated from Coker University with a bachelor's degree in science, and so to God be the glory for young people who were in this system. And she also was at Epworth, and she is a superstar, and I would love for her to have your number. She lives in the state of Maryland now, just got her license to be a technician at a dialysis clinic for DaVita, and I would love for her to make contact with you because you both are superstars, and I just wanted to say to God be the glory, to God be the glory.
Thank you.
We're so proud of you.
Thank you for adopting. Came out of Epworth, and I didn't get that permanency experience. So I graduated a month after I turned 17, and the world was there. And just really knowing that, more people are opening up their hearts and homes, and that's so valuable because not having that connection, it made it difficult, having kids and trying to manage, but I'm here, I survived,
Yes.
and I'm hoping to bring something to the community that I've found through my life that we need. And he had a question, and then
Okay.
can you give her?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much for your presentation. And as the owner, you wear 2 hats. You obviously wear the hat of the services provided, but now I want you to put on your business owner hat and tell me what it's like building the business. How are you finding your customers? How are you putting yourself out there? Are you finding it something that's very difficult for you at this stage in your business? Over to you, Madame.
Thank you. With the consulting, most of my contracts were national work. And in 2024, we had a little bit of a change in the administration. And so 2025 kind of took out about 2/3 of my income. About halfway through the year, everybody was hands up, can't do this anymore. Now, prior to that time, during that time, I made enough to open a clinic, a small studio. So I was kind of balancing the consulting and the bodywork therapy. And again, my goal is really not to have a studio. My goal is to bring well-being to the workforce. My biggest goal is to partner with the state. We fund technical colleges that do massage therapy, and South Carolina is a huge manufacturing state. We have a really good relationship with Canada, which is one of the world's, they take good care of their massage therapists. They treat them like nurses, like the education and support and opportunity they give them. So in my business mind, there's a huge opportunity for our state to show that we are stepping into the 21st century, knowing devices and stress, the world in general, we could use more wellness. Other than that, that is one of my needs. I'm not a business person. I'm an interdisciplinary thinker. So learning about marketing is something I'm very open to because, again, I have a workforce-wide goal, and but my hands are good. So the people that do find me always come back.
So I found people like us have a sort of superpower, and when I mean people like us, I mean people who were born into trauma. You know, it doesn't matter exactly what the trauma is. You know, it all relates to one another. You know, I was an addict, a felon, made a lot of bad decisions. You know, put myself at the very bottom, on the bottom, maybe just to experience. Who knows? But once we get out of that stage and we build ourselves up slowly, you know, and God is like bringing us these things. This is what I'm struggling with. The passion that I have, you know, is like it's just so intense. And a lot of times it's getting to be too much for people, you know. Like I'm because all these thoughts are in my head, these ideas, you know. It's just like constantly. And I need to maybe tone it down sometimes. I don't know, or maybe find somebody who can help me program the data in my mind to shuffle it around, you know. But when somebody's doing this and they really mean it, you know, not just I want to make a little side money, you know, pay the electric bill or something, but really like build an empire, you know what I mean, like. To have the audacity to dream big like that, then it takes a whole nother level of mentality, you know. And I'm good with my mind. I love my mind, but for the most part, people are like, I open it up a little bit and they're like, oh God. They're like, oh okay.
That is one of those things I like to call a natural fact because of trauma. It does rewire our nervous systems. We become aware of different things, of small movements, of how people's faces change.
I'm a psychoanalyzer too, so I'm always
hyper-vigilant, and it is a superpower once we learn how to focus it and purpose it, right? So it's definitely part of our experience, and yeah, everybody doesn't have our experience, so they're not going to be wired in the way we are, and we can be a little intense because we come from intensity, we come from a lot all the time, so that's how our brain has wired itself. So people who find us are actually pretty lucky, right? Because we have a brain that can do so much processing and still be in a room and still think about the future and where we want to go and the bigger picture, how we are all connected. Because I do, like you said, you know, feel like trauma, as we understand it, it makes us capable of seeing where other people have maybe a little niche.
But this is another thing. I will meet these people. If it's out, I was working at a restaurant, whether it's a young kid, I'm looking for potential everywhere I go. I see somebody's potential. I'm like, look, you know, I see this inside of you. What are your dreams? This, that, and the third. Well, you know, you could do this, that, and third. You know, I'll invest my time. I want to uplift and inspire. But people are like, no, I'm good. I'll just stick with my 9 to 5, and it frustrates me.
Hey,
so, but eventually you get the right one who will grasp, and that one person will it'd be a butterfly effect, you know what I mean?
Don't stop your passion because you might trigger something. They heard you, they may not have responded.
It's about planting that seed.
There you go.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
We have this gentleman and then all the way in the back, so go ahead.
Just on your presentation, thank you for the information and your family. I know you're busy, that's an understatement. How do you relax and unwind?
Practicing that, right? I'm learning how to do that more. I really am. I write, so sometimes I'm just journaling. Try to be creative. Honestly, I made a little joke about going out, but for me, there's something about just being in music, just being like, just taken over by the sound and just leave it there. And I can go home at 2 o'clock and that's it in the morning, you know, in the club clothes, and go home and feel good the next day and just like feel renewed. I don't know if that is a thing for everybody, but I think a lot of people have heard how moving the body does release and help you respond to your desire to face the world.
All the way to back.
So, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude. What is it that you do? You said you teach people.
So what do I do?
Yeah, what is it that you do?
Yeah, so I meet. That's the one thing I do. But I also do consulting. So I've been on, like there was a disaster. Google me. I've got like 6, 7 pages. Tacoria Jones. And it can tell you, show you a lot about what I've done. And then consulting, really just community-centered. How do we think about lived experience? How do we think about processes that affect people? How do we think about, you know, public health and well-being? And that also moves over into the massage therapy. So I am a licensed massage therapist. If you call me, I can come to you. So there's my business number. But again, my desire is to grow this into an industry, a commerce, a support for our state that we can be proud of. If you really think about it, like countries that have a big bodywork history, so like China and Japan and India, where you can go and find people on the street doing bodywork, their societies, not finances, they have less instability in how their not money market, somebody help me, what's the word?
The structure.
All of that. Like there's more stability because there's like an added layer of industry, right? There's a supportive well-being industry that kind of keeps those things rolling. So it's my goal to bring that to South Carolina and beyond, right? But here in my city, in my state, where everybody's my brother and sister because I'm a ward of the state. So that's how I got through, you know, life. And it's like, that's my brother, that's my sister. How can we be okay?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
More questions? Who else? Yeah, right in the back.
You put out the term, I think it's the word advocate. You mentioned assistance with that and different. So could you give us your thoughts on homelessness and what can be done with that to government or private avenues?
Absolutely. I'd be glad to give you my thoughts on that. Housing is a human right, and without those basic needs, then we as a society lose so much human potential. And when it's cold outside and you see people wrapped in tarps and your heart doesn't bleed a little bit, you need some wellness. You need to come to me and let's talk about things because there's a separation, there's a big separation. So I think as a society we should do more as folks who go to church and have religious connections. There's so much possibility there. As business owners, where are we putting our power and purpose and profits, right? Are we putting it back into community because it is community that is making us who we are? Are we pocketing it and forgetting about the folks, right? Because as a society-minded, interdisciplinary thinker, we're all one. And we all have to take care of each other. And that's how we achieve the society that the 21st century should create. I hope that helped.
How you look into what I've noticed about the older community and disabilities too, it's like there's this pain when it comes to the family members. It kind of feels like a change from one day to another. There's not a lot of knowledge. Like we get a lot of people that they don't know what to do, what to put in their homes. It's their family member just got diagnosed with something, so just the person that needs either medical equipment just dealing with that issue. But we've noticed that the family members are having this obviously they're hurt because it kind of feels like it just happened from one day to another, and we've even talked about starting for the community. Obviously the elder community is growing around the world, so maybe you're creating this type of groups that to share feelings, kind of like stay strong. Yeah, my family member is dealing with this. I feel like this. Are there different things, or kind of like an AA group, but just because it hurts. I mean, we get people crying because from one day to another, their loved one just got diagnosed with this. So at times, they're struggling more than the person that was diagnosed. So I feel like it is a big problem. I mean, we see it every day. So kind of just focusing on that, because when we got clients and they're sharing those feelings right next to each other, they turn around and you can tell that just by sharing what's going on between them, they get lifted up a little bit. So definitely just maybe look into creating those type of groups. I think could help a lot.
As a 21st century business owner, what you're recognizing is that there's always a place for a relationship. So building and allowing space for a relationship within that is very important. And a lot of times businesses are now thinking about hiring a navigator or a coordinator that will do those things and also help connect the business to other resources, because there's a lot of resources. So many resources. The problem is they're not connected. They don't work in here you go here or you go here. Then there's a need for navigation within those systems. And I know exactly what you're talking about. I became a caregiver to someone in community just out of the blue because they needed somebody, and I'm there, right? And yet it does. It takes you. Caregiving is expensive, emotionally, financially. It's expensive. So recognizing that as a 21st business owner, what you're recognizing there is that need for relationship building, and in that space that you're in, how often that relationship is what affects the business. So good for you in noticing that. Also, there are a lot of resources. Senior Resources is one of the biggest ones in the area. They may already have some of that you're looking for. But if not, there's my number. Give me a call if you talk about it.
Yeah.
Time for one more? Anybody else? Well, Al, oh yes.
I was thinking, with the rise of AI and a lot of jobs being automated, possibly the most important skill is learning how to be fully human and to connect and have community. And I think what he was saying, what I was hearing, is we've lost those avenues to have that. How do you plan on positioning yourself to meet that need, especially if what comes true in 2028 when there's like a big fallout of a lot of jobs, like black collar and things like that? How do you see yourself positioning to meet that need? And I guess the follow-up question is, I know that we're here as a community. How can we help you?
I like that. I'm going to start with that first one, because the first one is what also affects the second one. So as a community, if we have more conversations about well-being, if we do more communicating in connection, then it feels so good, right? It's part of who we are as humans. And once we do that more, it becomes something that we crave and that we yearn for and that we make space for. So as a community, dig deep into your wellness. Think about well-being. Think about how what you are doing and what you're providing is affecting yourself, the people that work for you, and the people that are receiving your services. Because in a couple of years, should AI, who knows, this is the 21st century, right? the one thing that cannot be put into an AI is the heart,
Come on, baby.
right?
Come on.
Is experiences of lifetimes,
The soul.
experiences of relationship, and looking a human in the eye and being able to say, "Hey, human, I feel you, I see you," and that connection is what we need as things like that happen. Like the administration change gave us a little taste of that, right? And unemployment happened, and people were in places that they never thought they'd be. And in that space, if there's connection available, even if there's someone to sit and talk with, what it does is it moves the brain and moves the neurons out of that fight or flight and into a more connective space where you can breathe and you can think, because big things happening, this is scary. Change, we are evolved as humans to resist it. And our brains are like, oh no, because it's a whole neural circuit hormone change that has to happen as we consider change. So again, the biggest thing that we can do is really commit to well-being in ourselves, in our homes, in our families, in our workplaces, with the people that we serve, and keep that connection. And always, always relationship first.
He did ask that second question, which I don't think he realized is our final question. So let me do it the big way. Hey, Al, could you please give Tecoria the final question?
Amazing presentation. But then what can 1 million cups do for you?
Keep showing up. Because this room is filled with so much potential energy, right? That you are fed, you're feeding me, and you're feeding each other. This kind of connection of minds is a valuable place because we are not typical individuals. We have a way of being and thinking and feeling that sets us apart, or we'd be doing something else with our time this morning. So that's what 1 billion cups can do for me. Call me, think about me, but also if you know about marketing and helping, somebody kind of figure out what to do. Like, I don't mind being on social media, but I don't have time. Like, to tell me what I need to do, right? Because all that other stuff is complex. And I got 6 kids, and they're all I've got, and I'm all they have, right? And if the washing machine don't work. So just a partner, right? I'm a single mom, so having somebody to kind of encourage me, to keep saying, hey, think about that again. How, get it out of your brain, right, and process it and translate it to general public speak, right? I need a little practice with that because I do sit in my brain a lot. It's a survival technique. So that's what 1 million cups can do for me.
Hey, we got the room for another hour or so. Otherwise, we'll see you all next week. Thank you for coming. I saw you signed up. Did you get it? is pharmacy. Most people walk around like they're clothes are happening, you know, it's like, which, you know, again, fine, you know, I get it, it's hard, you know, but if I'm bringing folks, so, and it sounds easy, but it's not. This is just a full-time job. So, it's not. Like she did, you know, I came on nobody. In 1 year I did 5. I mean, what happens? That happens. It's So anyway, and yes, so what we, how I now I'm afraid I will. But so agents coming in, like when I'm working on these bigger offices, they don't have access to their phones. So if that's the one thing I have a problem, you know, so they're frustrated. They're also frustrated. They're promised all of this. I'll take any policy that's been trained by them, because they're well trained. They just now need support or encouragement. Because Keller Williams is so big, they'll do that. The ESP, and some of like the online, you know, they're coming in because like, I have no office, which I thought was great, you know, but now I have nobody to talk to. I have nobody, no peers. It's a very lonely time. We're getting some brand new things, which is fine. Like, just got my license, and now I'm here doing because I'll take them too, you know. So I've had two agents before. I'm not sure why this thing, and this year they wanted to renew my license because it's expensive. I know it's, you know, $600 to renew it, and then it's, you know, another $400. So they're like, and I'm like, I get it, you know, and I get it. So I lost to them. I bring it in, I did find somebody, my dad, God bless him. Chad doesn't want to do anything. He wants somebody to fill out his contracts, you know, handle his people. This is my Chad. Because this is how Chad's lived in California. California is paying everybody, you know, $70 million a year. So now he's like, I need an assistant. So we're looking for an assistant. So I was that role. And I was like, I'm not doing it this way. You know, and he's like, you want an assistant. So now we're looking for an assistant. And now we're bringing out the report next week. Which one? I meant what? Especially like us South Carolina. So that makes sense. Another reason I got in is because the girl who was in there, their realtor left, and she brought me in, and I got in. So I like it. Now we do have a she has Sun Solutions. I have Sun